Okay, so I have now put on the buttons to my romper. My straps are around 23 centimeters long and I have crossed them. Obviously once there's a baby and I'm not sure if they're going to be able to be crossed or if they'll have to be straight, but equally I think it's so nice and the detailing is impeccable. I'm really proud with how it looks, and I think it's either summer or winter appropriate depending on what they wear with it. It doesn't have any sewing up whatsoever. You just tuck the ends back in and then you place the buttons on this bit folded over like that. So yeah, and that's it. That's literally the romper. So if you did knit it, please tag me on Instagram. All my links will be down below. I will love to see it, and repost it. I would love to do that. So yeah, let me know if you have any inquiries, any questions, you need any help, please comment down below. I will love to help all of you out. Subscribe if you haven't already, thumbs up the video, send me any tutorials you would like me to help you out on. I'm flumbling my words. Any photos that you find on Pinterest, Instagram, whatever, and you think maybe I could give them a try, link them, send me them on Instagram, whatever. I would love to chat with you. So yeah, this is the romper, this is the back. I think it's really nice and I'm really pleased with it, and this is the 1 to 3 months. Okay, so getting straight into it, this is the cotton wool I'm going to be using. I've used this wool for many projects and it's one of my favourite cotton ones. If you want to have a little Google, it is this one. It's the Algodon Soft, which is the one I can get hold of in Spain. It's very affordable, and this is just for 2.5 to 3.5 millimeter needles. And like I say, 100% cotton, and it's so stretchy and cool, and just I love it for the spring summertime. So the first thing we need to calculate, seeing as this is my pattern, I'm going to link it down in the description below. I'll probably have it written out. So yeah, it's in centimeters is my pattern, seeing as everyone's going to use different kind of wool, different amount of stitches and everything like that. So we need to first of all calculate the amount of stitches I need. For this you should probably knit out a little sample, but I already know for 5 centimeters of work I need 15 stitches. For this you should probably do a little sample knit, cast on 15 stitches or 20 and just do a little knit, so then you know the height and width of the wool. So yeah, for 5 centimeters I cast on 15 stitches, so then I need to calculate for 20 centimeters, seeing as that is the amount I'm going to cast on, because I'm going to knit it in 1 to 3 months. It's X, because this is what we have to calculate. So going back to our maths at school, we know that X equals 20 times 15 divided by 5, and this gives me, hang on, let me get my maths head on. I'm just going to even triple check it on my phone because I do not trust myself. 20 times 15 is 300, divided by 5 is 60. 60 stitches is what my one works out as. If you have any questions whatsoever, please comment them down below and I will get back to you as soon as possible. But yeah, just get your maths head on, and if you knit out a little sample you will be able to easily calculate how many stitches you need to cast on for your work. Okay, now moving on to the more manual bit. This is so weird that you're just looking at my horrible hands. So this is the wool. I'm also so colour coordinated and I did not plan this. I'm wearing a cashmere knit jumper, red phone case, red wool. It's all going down. Yeah, so how many stitches? 60 stitches. We are going to start off using half a size smaller than the one we're going to knit with. So I'm going to be knitting with my 3mm straight needles. But for the cast on, seeing as it's got the rib at the top, I'm going to use half a size smaller just to make it kind of snug, extra snug up at the top. Sorry if you can hear a fly flying around. It's that kind of time of year. So yeah, like I said, I'm using 2.5mm needles. So I'm going to start by casting on my wool. Okay, so for those of you who do not know how to cast on, I'm going to like kind of explain it to you. So we get, this is the length that's attached to the ball of wool, and this is the other one, and I'm just gonna loop it around my finger like so and pull it through to make one of these little pull tie loops. I do hope you can see that. And I'm going to just put that on my smaller needles. okay, and pull it tight. Let me just zoom in a little bit and see if we can make you be able to see that better. Can you see that? I really hope you can see that. I'm just going to move my pattern out of the way and hope you can see that. Okay, and now what we're going to do is loop this round like so, and this one over, and put it over again to create a stitch. And as you can see, we've already cast on 2 stitches, so I'm going to just do that again. So I loop this, the wool that's attached to my ball goes round my finger like so and on, and this one just goes over like that. So okay, so I now have 37 stitches, but I'm just going to show you again because that was not in focus on my last clip. So we have 37, we loop like this, 38, loop and over, 39, 40, 41, 42. Okay, so we're now going to knit this. So we go in here at this side and we go over and through like this, and we do that twice. So we go in at the front and round, and now we're going to purl 2. So we bring our wool up to the top of the needle and we go through the back, round and over and through again, purl 2. And now to knit 2, we bring it back down again, and again from the front like so to the back, knit 1, knit 2, bring it back up again, and that's purl, purl 2, purl 1, purl 2, down. Oops, it can be a bit tricky this first row, so do not panic. Knit 2, and now purl 2, knit 2, purl 2. Okay, so now we're on our second row, and I need to start on knit 2. If you want to know when it's knit 2 and purl 2, these are our knit stitches, and if you can see, our purl stitches have 2 little bobbles behind them. So we've got knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, and so on all the way to the end. So this will be our second row. I'm going to knit to our 5th row, and I will get back to you to create our buttonholes. Okay, so I am now on my 5th row. Here we know that this is the beginning of our work. By the beginning I mean either row 1, 3, 5, because we have our tail at the beginning, and this is also the front of the work, so this is going to be the visible side. So what we have to do now, as it kind of says on my pattern, on the 5th row we shall open buttonholes. Start by dividing the work in 2 equal parts. So that's what we're going to do. So if my work has 60 stitches, the half is going to be 30. So I'm going to take my marker. I bought these at the Teddy shop, but I mean, if you don't have a marker, you can always just use a safety pin. It's what I've always done. So 30, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. This would be the absolute middle of my work, and here I should have 30, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. Perfect. So we now want to insert my buttonholes, so I'm going to mark them in green. So let's see, so we want to do our buttonholes 8 stitches apart for newborn and 10 for any other sizes, so 10 stitches. So we want 10 from the center, so it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 here. I would want my buttonhole either on these 2 or these 2, but never splitting, if that makes any sense. So I'm just gonna put my marker there. And then I know that as I knit on, after my marker, I've got my buttonhole. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, here it will be. And then here we need another 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 here. Now, I can remove my center marker because I no longer need it. And let's get knitting the buttonholes. So we're just gonna knit, whoops a daisy, we're just gonna knit the pattern as it is, so knit 2, purl 2, all the way to our first marker. And then what we need to do is purl or knit 2 together in this case, knit 2 together, yarn over. So I shall show you how that goes in a second. So we're just going to knit, like I say, knit. I slip my first stitch always, just because I do, it makes it look a lot nicer. So knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, whoops, knit 2, right, purl 2, and now I have my marker, so I can remove my marker, and now we have knit 2 together, yarn over. So to knit 2 together, as it says in the name, is knit 2 together. So instead of going through our first stitch as we always would, we're going to go through 2 at the same time and knit as usual. So I'll just show you again. If these are our 2 stitches we need to knit together, we go through the furthest one away, which is this one. We go through it as we would one and knit. And now we yarn over, which again is just the same, but because we've got a purl stitch coming next, we need to yarn over purl ways, which is like this. So we go over and over because we're going to purl, and as you see, we've got our 2 knit stitches. We haven't lost any stitches. So I'll show you that again. If you're on your knit, you do it like this to get to the purl, which is coming next, because if I were to yarn over knitwise is this one, I can then not purl. I'd have to go over again anyway. So yeah, we have our wool here from knitting 2 together. We go round and over again and here, so we go to the front twice. So then I just purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, all the way to our marker again. Knit 2, purl 2, and now we do it the opposite. Now we yarn over and then knit 2 together. So how do we do it? We just do this and go like that. Hang on a second, I cannot do it. Okay. And now we do it the opposite way around. So I've taken off my marker and now we knit, yarn over, knit ways. So if we are here, we go from purl, we bring it to the forwards if we're going to knit, and we go over again, and then we just knit 2 together like so. So wait, I'll just show you that again. So we have just purled 2 and now we're going to knit. So I bring my wool to the front as we would do to knit, and then I just go over again and knit. Okay, and as you see, we've got purl 2 and just knit 2 as usual, and now I'm just going to purl 2, knit 2 all the way to the end. Like I say, we just do a further, so this is now our 6th row, so we need to do 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, and then I will get back to you to go on to our size up needles. This row, by the way, we just knit it as usual. We don't knit anything any differently, so we just knit 2, purl 2, and when we get to where the buttonhole is, we just knit it as usual, and it will create a hole all by itself because of the knitting 2 together and yarn over that we have just done. As you can see, if I turn my work, I have a buttonhole here. It's not very big, but I mean it is a baby piece, and as you will see, it will grow in a minute. And then here we have our other one. Ta-da! So now I'm just going to do our 4 more rows, I think it is. 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 7 more rows. 7? No, 4 more rows until row 11, and I will get back to you to change onto our size 3mm needles and for the next step. Okay, so I've finished doing my 10 rows of rib, and as you can see, the buttonholes are very prominent. If you want to do a rib that is longer than this one measures about 2.5 centimeters. Well, if you were wanting to do a rib slightly bigger, you would just have, say you want to do, instead of 10, 15 or 20 or whatever, just make sure you make your buttonholes to be on the 10th row, on the 7th, or depending on the length of your rib, obviously. Okay, so now we are ditching the 2.5mm and we are going to size up to our 3mm to knit our work. So this one is still on the 2.5, and in order to pass it from the 2.5s to the 3s, you're going to wonder how we do that. Really easy, you just knit straight onto this one, which is our 3. So we're just going to knit onto our 3. We need to knit according to my pattern, if you have printed it or if you have it down below or whatever. According to my pattern, it's here. This is the centimeters we need to knit. I'm knitting 1 to 3 months, so I'm going to have to knit 12 centimeters. If you're doing newborn, it will be 11. 3 to 6 months, 14 centimeters, and so on, depending on the size you're knitting. So yeah, I'm just going to knit in plain knit 12 centimeters on my size 3s. So we just slip 1 stitch. I always slip my first stitch because it makes it look a lot neater. So slip 1 and then just knit. My hands are so sweaty because it's so warm today. It must be like 20 something degrees. Okay, so I now have my 12 centimeters that I needed, but I just wanted to also pop on and say that if here you do not have the 20 centimeters that we cast on at the beginning, it is completely normal. I currently have about 18, well, even less than that, probably 17, and it's because we did cast this on with the 2.5 size millimeter needles, whereas we measured our sample and calculated our stitches on the size 3, but here it will measure about 20. See, at the end of our cast off where it is coming out, it does measure 20, and here it's probably just, yeah, 22, but it is a bit stretched. It doesn't matter if it's a tiny bit off, like it can be 1, 2, yeah, it's like 20 something. Anyway, so yeah, I've got my 20, no I haven't, I've got my 12 centimeters, which is my height. We have it here. Newborn 11 centimeters, 12 centimeters, 1 to 3, 3 to 6 months, 14, and everything like that. I will link it down below in the description. I will probably link a PDF as well as typing it out maybe. I'm not quite sure yet how we're going to do that bit. So now it says knit 5 stitches and knit 2 together on the right side of our work at the beginning and end until we have only 7 centimeters of stitches left. So now what we're going to do is close this area, and this is going to be the bum, the booty. So we have to decrease until we have 7 centimeters, which is going to be our what do you call it, like our crotch area. So if you want, you can just simply measure 7 centimeters and count those stitches: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. I need to decrease until I have approximately 20 stitches on my needle. How am I going to decrease? Well, I just said 5 stitches, knit 2 together. So I'm going to get my markers. Let's see, 1 and 2. So I'm going to place my markers at 5 stitches from my cast on. So 2, 4, 5. I'm going to place a marker. You don't have to do it with a marker as long as you remember. I usually would not use marker, but I'm using them for the purpose of the video. And like I say, if you don't have a marker, you just use a safety pin. It does not really matter. And now I'm going to do 5 from here. 2, 4, 5. Here we go. There. So now this is how we do these decreases that we're doing, and then only on the right side of the work. And as I said, the right side of the work is the one where we also have the cast on tail at the front. So now I knit 5. Let's see if I can get you in focus. So now we're going to knit those 5. Hang on, we're not in focus. Here we go. Knit 5. So we slip the first stitch as usual, and then I'm gonna knit 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna slip my cast on stitch, and then it's knit 2 together, which is, as you remember, we go through the furthest one away all the way through and knit that together as if it was 1 stitch. I'll just do that again for in case you didn't understand. So we knit the 5, slip the stitch, and then these 2 are the ones I need to knit together. So I just get it, I go through the furthest away stitch just as usual,
and knit it as if I would knit one stitch, and then I'm just going to knit to the next marker, which is 5 stitches from the end. It's pretty simple, and like I keep saying, that once you know what you've got to be doing, it's also really easy. I would class this as like a beginner pattern. So if you remember, on the front it's knit 5, slip stitch, knit 2 together. So now it's knit 2 together, slip stitch, knit 5. Obviously it's the other way around, so I'm just going to repeat what we did before. I knit to the last 2 stitches before the marker, and I go through the furthest away one, the second stitch, and I just go through as we would normally, round and over. Then I'm going to slip my stitch just as usual, slip it onto the other needle, and then knit those 5 remaining, and 5. Okay, and there we have done 1 decrease. Obviously you are not going to notice right now, but you will as we carry on our work. This side is now the back of the work, seeing as I do not have the tail. The tail is at the other side, so where the point is, I do not have the tail. Now I just knit this normally without doing any decreases. Okay, so I'm a few rows into my decreases. As you can tell, I'm this far down, and you can already see the shape. This is our booty area, and as you can see, it already has the little boom shape. As we decrease, this then is going to fold in, and this is where our buttons are going to go eventually. Here's going to be our buttons, and then our romper is going to come up, and here will be the buttonholes for the buttons, and it's just going to be like that shape, if you kind of get in what I'm saying. Okay, so I now have my 7 centimeters, which for me is 17 stitches left on my needle. I'm going to take off, I'm going to take off the needle, sorry, the stitch, the markers off the needle, and now I'm just going to knit 8 rows of plain knitting to grow this crotch area. Okay, so my work is now looking like this, and I'm back at the front of my work because I have the tail at this side, like I keep saying, and this is what it now looks like. You can see clearly the decreases, and then here I've done 8 rows. If you're not quite sure how many rows you've done, you can also count in 2. Each of these bubble lines, hang on, let me just get that in focus. And this last decrease, which will be this one, we'd have 2, 4, 6, and this one we've done is 8. Just in case you lose count. So now what we have to do, it says knit 8 rows for the crotch area, and then we knit 5 stitches, which is our 5, the marker stitches basically. Yarn over, knit to the last 5 stitches, yarn over, knit 5. So this is when we are increasing, because we want to achieve what we've just done, but in a longer version. So we're not going to do it every other row as we did here, we're going to do it differently. But we're gonna increase basically. So you can either put your markers on or not, it's up to you, but you need to remember I might not put them on this time, so I'm in focus. So we knit 5, let me make sure I'm in focus, can we please? Knit 5, 1, 2, sorry, it's because I'm looking in the viewfinder, 4, 5, and then I don't know if I'm in focus, sorry. I'm trying to like knit looking at the viewfinder instead of my knitting. So now we yarn over, which is just like this, and then carry on knitting to the last 5 stitches, which would now be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Yarn over again, just from here I lift my wool up and carry on knitting, and it creates an extra stitch. And that's all we do on the front of our work for our yarn over. And now I go to the back of my work and I do knit to the increase, which is 3, 4, 5, and this is the increase. So if I knit it, oops, sorry, I'm not in focus. No. Okay, so if I knit it like this, we're going to make a hole, as you can see. So what I have to do is knit it through, hang on. If the stitch is like this, we're going to push it with our finger and we're going to knit through this back loop there, if you can see, like that. So I'll do that again at our next increase, which is this one here. If I knit through here, as you can see, there's a massive, you can't see because it's out of focus there. If I knit through here, you make a hole, so we need to knit through the back. So we push it with our finger and we knit through the back loop like this through here. And as you can see, it just creates a tight increase. And now we do not do that on the next row. We now, hang on a second. Now I just do the same again. I'm just going to repeat it so then you do not forget. I didn't think it was every other row, but it is. So we knit 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over. So basically we've just knit those 5 that we had to knit, and now we just do this with our wool and carry on knitting. It's literally that easy. Like this, la-di-la, all the way to our last 3, 4, 5. If you put your marker on, it's maybe easier for you here, and then we just pick our wool up and over and literally just carry on knitting. I think it's quite easy. Whoops. And then we are on our back of the work, so we knit 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here, which is our increase, we just knit it through the back like this. Knit to the last 5. I've knitted my increases, so we knit the 8 rows of crotch area, and then we had to knit 5 stitches, yarn over and increase, and we've got these little eyelets that I think are really cute. Not eyelets, just like a little loop. They're completely like closed, but you can see, and I think it looks nice. Anyway, so we did that, and now we had to do that. We have it here, the width to achieve. We had to knit until we achieved a width. It was not a length. And the width is the width that we cast on originally. So I cast on 20 centimeters because I was knitting 1 to 3 months. And if you remember, I did the little maths equation and it worked out at 60 stitches. Well, now we have to cast on 20 centimeters minus 3 centimeters, all sizes that you cast on regardless of what size, minus 3 centimeters, which is 17 centimeters. So I've done another maths calculation, and it works out that I have to achieve 51 stitches in order to have 17 centimeter width. So this is my width. I need to knit upwards to create the body of our romper. So we're just going to knit straight. There's no more increases, sorry. And I need to now open buttonholes every 20 rows because I'm knitting the 1 to 3 months. If you're knitting newborn, every 16, 3 6 months is every 24. Each one is 4 rows each side. Each size, sorry, is 4 more rows between buttonholes. So yeah, so I'm going to open my first buttonhole here, and so does every single size. Just opens their first buttonhole now. For those of you who do not know how to open buttonholes or where to open it, I'm going to just do that with you. So we I've actually got it written here anyway, so we're going to knit 3, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, and now knit 2 together, and this creates a buttonhole like we did before for the waistband, sorry. And now I'm going to knit to the last 5 stitches. I keep looking at my thing just to make sure I'm saying it right. I don't know, maybe it will not come and go out of focus now. So I'm knitting to the last 5 stitches like I said. I think I've changed the focus settings. So the last 5 stitches, 2, 4, 5, okay. You could always place a marker if you want, so then you don't miss them, but I'm pretty sure it is here. 2, 4, 5, yes. So now we're going to do it the opposite way. Now we knit 2 together and then yarn over. So like we've been doing the whole time, we just go in the second one here and knit those 2 together, yarn over and knit 3. 1, 2, 3. And now what I'm going to do is turn my work and just knit this side normally, nothing through the back or anything like that, because we do want to create a hole. This setting is still just as bad as the other. Knit just normally because we want to create a hole for the button. So just gonna slip stitch and knit. My trick is to take your marker or whatever you're using as a marker and put it through the little loop of the bubble of our last row like this, and then once you knit, say your loop was here, you have to knit including this one. So my loop will be here and I do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and know that then I had to do the buttonhole, if that makes any sense. This is like a way to kind of lose track of our stitches, of our rows, sorry, without losing track of them. Okay, so I have now done all my buttonholes. I've got all 4, 1, 2, 3, and here's my 4th one. Oops, don't know if you can see that. And it looks amazing. This is about 12 centimeters, which is what it said on our paper, but if yours is like 12.5, 13, it can always vary just a little bit. And now we need to decrease this for the chest area until we have a width of 9 centimeters, which is what it says for my month range. So how are we going to decrease? On the front of our work, we are going to decrease on 1 row. Okay, so what we're going to do in order to decrease to do our chest area like this is, on the front of the work we need to knit 5, knit 2 together, knit to the last 5, knit 2 together, so knit to the last 7, sorry, I've written it wrong there. Knit to the last 7, knit 2 together, knit 5, and then we do the back normally. The front we do it normally again, and the back, and then on the next one, that's why it's every other row, we knit 5, knit 2 together, knit to the last 7, knit 2 together, knit 5. I think it's kind of clear. So we do the same as we did here to increase, or to decrease here even, on the back. Same as we did here, but every other front row, okay? Okay, so I have now knitted my front piece. We have my 4 buttonholes, and here is the area of decrease. It's a tiny bit more than 9 centimeters. I think it's about 10. Yeah, it's about 10 centimeters, but I'm just going to leave it like that because I think it's gone high enough up. I don't want it to be too long either for the baby. So now I have to knit 6 for the strap area. We knit 6 stitches, close the center stitches, and knit a further 6. So I'm just going to like go through that with you. So we knit 6 stitches, it says. So knit a slip a stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and now we close, so 2, 4, 6 close stitches. So we're going to knit an extra one and knit 2, and then this stitch here which we want to close, we pass it over the last one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and one that we've closed, and another one. Then we knit again, lift it, oops, over there. Oops, we were out of focus, hang on. We lift this one over this one with our other needle, knit 1, pull it over the last one, knit 1 over this one, and we're just going to do that all the way to the 6 stitches before the other end. I think it's like a pretty easy knitting pattern for beginners. Like if you've already done like a little bit of knitting and you know your ins and your outs, you will find it even easier. But I think anyone can really have a go and get it right. I just hope I've explained it correctly. Like I say, I will try and have it as written as thoroughly as possible, even though you will probably have to watch the video to understand it. But at least you will have your measurements, your sizes, and hopefully you will know enough maths to do the little thing. Oh, I've got a little thread loose. Okay, so I've now got 1 on my right stitch and 5 here. My right needle. So now I'm going to pick that stitch up because I've just dropped it. I'm just going to knit to the end. 2, 3, 4,
5 and 6. I'm just going to carry on knitting these 6 stitches back and forth, slipping the first stitch on every row during about 3 centimeters up, and then until it reaches the buttonhole at the back. I don't know if I will do it crossed or just normal, and then depending on the baby, obviously you can change like where your button is positioned to fit better, if that makes any sense. Okay, so I'll tune back in and we'll knit that bit. Okay, so I'm a bit out of it this morning, so I've put back in. I've just knitted these 6 stitches, 1 row, and these ones here you can either leave them on and just like not knit them obviously, but just leave them on, or we can put them on hold. You could just put them on a safety pin, but I like using this thread method, so then it doesn't weight my work down. So I just thread them all onto my needle. 3, 4, 5 and 6, and I'm just going to pop them all here on my thread like that and tie a knot. I just need to remember which way my needle was, and it was this way. Okay, so I've just finished my strap and it is 22.5, about 23 centimeters, but it is really stretchy. It is cotton, so it's going to be okay. And I have just, one second, I've also just undone the knot on my little holder. You could also just like slip it in a safety pin or whatever, it doesn't matter. And now I'm just going to show you how I pick up my stitches. We have to always remember which direction we have to pick our stitches up in. So mine is this way, seeing as that's where the point of the needle was. And all you do is like this, you just make sure you get all 6 stitches back on your needle like so. Hang on, I cannot pick this one up. And then you just pull your thread out, and there we go, we have our stitches back on our needle. So then to re-pick up your thread, seeing as now you do not have a thread on, all I do is, hang on, I put this one through here. There we go. So I'm just going to knit as I would, but I don't have obviously the thread to go over. So I then, oops, sorry, it's not in focus. So I've just threaded it through as if to knit it, and I'm just going to loop my wool over, hold both ends and knit, and then just make sure we're knitting with the ball and not with the short one. I just knit. This is the romper, this is the back. I think it's really nice and I'm really pleased with it, and this is the 1 to 3 months. Also, I have a bonnet with a star on the back, which I've already done, but I haven't finished, so I'm not going to show you, but let me know if you would like a tutorial on that. Also, I just wanted to say that this wool, look how much I've got left of it, and that is from a 500 gram ball. I'm sure it's 500, oh no, sorry, 100 gram ball, not 500, 100 gram ball, and look how much wool I've got left, like it's used half. And I also got a bonnet out of this, so it's like less than half. So yeah, I'm really proud of it, really like it, hope you do too, and I'll see you again soon.